Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So we have just seen a 15-year-old record in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime get broken. Now, I did a video about a year ago where I went over which Yu-Gi-Oh characters have the most 1v1 losses in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, these losses needed to be in 1v1 duels, and they needed to be shown on screen. We're not counting Yuma's 30 losses against Bronk, and in that video, I made a bit of an error. I know, it's hard to imagine me making an error, but I did, and I gotta own up to it. So in the video, I said that Yuga and Otis, two characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, each had 8 total losses and were tied for second, while Chaz Manjome Thunder was the character that had the most losses in Yu-Gi-Oh! History with 9. Well, I was right about Chaz and Otis, but I was actually wrong about Yuga. I forgot one of Yuga's losses in 7s, and so when I made this video, Yuga actually should have been sharing the pedestal with Chaz, as they both had 9 losses in this category. In the video, I said that Yuga lost to Luke twice, Roman, Roa, Nail, Asana, Yugioh, and Tiger. Well, I forgot that Yuga actually lost to Luke 3 different times. He lost in episode 2, he lost in episode 52, and I believe the other one was 73. It was in the early 70s. It was a really bad duel that I guess I tried to suppress from my memories, but the fact of the matter is, when 7s came to an end, Yuga and Chaz both had 9 losses. Well, unfortunately for Yuga, his story was not done in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. At the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, he performs a hyperspace, and him and Otis both disappear. Yuga actually disappears for at least 2 years before some mystery character, maybe it's Yuga, maybe it's not, returns to the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's stratosphere. Well, in these 2 years, we found out that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, Yuga actually somehow went into the distant past. We don't know how long the past is. We don't know if it's 100 years, 200 years. I should say how far away the past is. But we do know Go Rush and 7s are definitely on the same timeline. Either way, Yuga is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, and he actually had his first 1v1 duels in the past arc number 5, which just came to an end last week, at least at the time of recording this video. Well, Yuga had 2 duels in that arc, and in classic Yuga fashion, he lost them both. Yuga lost to Ryugu Phaser, he got carded, and then he lost to Yuhi while dueling him as cats in the carded dimension. It's weird. I'm not going to get into it. But this puts Yuga's running L total at 11, and Yuga is now by far the Yu-Gi-Oh! Character who has the most 1v1 on-screen losses in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! History. I gotta tell you, if there's any character from the older Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows that has to be a fan of these newer Yu-Gi-Ohs, it's gotta be Chaz, because he's sitting there watching this character rack up the losses, and for 15 years, when did GX end? 2007, 2008? For 15 years, Chaz was alone with the most losses in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I didn't think that anyone genuinely was ever going to reach him. And here we have Yuga, the main character of 7s. L, 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 L. And now Yuga has a 2L lead on Chaz, a character that probably is never going to duel again on screen, while Yuga's story is definitely not over. He might duel a couple of more times in Go Rush, and if Yuga puts on that duel disc, who knows what's going to happen? You can't count on a win there. So that 11 number might just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And I find it hard to believe that any character is ever going to dethrone Yuga from being at the top of this category. I also look at third place, where Otis sits 1 below Chaz, and Otis is a character that also theoretically should be in the Go Rush world, because he was in that hyperspace with Yuga. So if Yuga went to Go Rush, shouldn't Otis have went to Go Rush as well? We have a character named the Creator, which shares some very striking resemblances to Otis, including having the same voice actor as Otis. So there's a good chance Otis's story is not done either. And if he duels again, there's a good chance he's taking another L or two. So Chaz might not even be top 2 when Rush Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Go Rush comes to an end. So he's got to be the happiest guy in all of this right now. But I do want to touch on Yuga very quickly. I don't think there's a correlation between losing a lot and being a bad character, or winning a lot and being a great character. I think in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's all about balance, and I think you have to have a really good character progression story within the duels, outside of the dueling, to be an enjoyable character. Well, if you've watched my videos and streams, you know that I often bring up Pac-Man when talking about Yuga. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. So, Pac-Man was created by Toru Iwatani, and Toru Iwatani is credited for not only creating Pac-Man, I believe he created Galaga as well. So he's kind of like an arcade machine wizard, which is crazy. Imagine creating both of those games. But anyway, I always bring up Iwatani, the creator of Pac-Man. His legacy is going to be what? His legacy is going to be the creator of one of the most revolutionary, well-known, popular, innovative games ever at the time, and that is Pac-Man. If you put Iwatani in a room with the 100 best Pac-Man players, he's probably finishing 101st, and that's no disrespect to him, but his legacy is always going to be the creator of an insanely revolutionary game. It is not going to be being a very good player, or even a good player when comparing him to the elite Pac-Man players at Pac-Man. So let's bring it back to Yuga. What is Yuga's legacy going to be? What is his character all about? It's pretty obvious to me that his character is not about being the greatest Rush duelist ever. In fact, we have the stats to prove it. He's got the most L's of any Yu-Gi-Oh character in all of history. It's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. Yuga's legacy is always going to be the creator of Rush duels, the creator of a new way to duel that brought smiles and joy to so many people throughout Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. And now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, we've seen that legacy expanded on because he brought Rush duels to the past. Yes, probably screwing up the timeline beyond repair, but he brought Rush duels to the past, which ended up ending the war in Velgears. He ended a war that had been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years through Rush duels, and I know that sounds weird if you've never watched Go Rush, but it also sounds probably like the most Yu-Gi-Oh thing you've ever heard. So Yuga's legacy is always going to be the creator of this wonderful game. It is not going to be the best duelist, and the stats clearly prove it. So that's my Pac-Man analogy. But guys, I want to know all of your thoughts on this news. And who knows, it took 15 years for Chaz's record to be broken. Maybe in 15 years we'll have a character named Yugioh, and he loses 15 duels in the year 2038. God, could you imagine being in your 40s watching Yu-Gi-Oh? I know I still will be, probably. So I don't know. We don't know where this franchise is going to go. We don't know the direction that they're going to take some of the characters, and maybe we will have a character that just loses an insane amount, and Yuga will not be number one for long, but I doubt it. I think Yuga probably is always going to be the most losingest Yu-Gi-Oh character. I'd be very surprised if anybody breaks that record. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on Sevens, Go Rush, Yuga, Chaz, Yu-Gi-Oh, losses, wins. I don't care. Anything you guys want to talk about. As always, thank you so much for watching. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Goosey Q and Panther J, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Elaine, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Pink Penguin. Be sure to check out my Patreon for additional channel perks. Thank you to everybody who is a patron or channel member. You guys help me out tremendously. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime content, and I hope you have an amazing day.